Okay, so for this lesson, you're going to need a smartphone with a camera, something to keep the phone steady, such as a phone tripod, a selfie stick, using tape and taping it to something sturdy. I would not suggest that because you probably don't want to get tape all over your phone, so I don't want you to do that. Hopefully you have some clamps or something to fasten the phone in place. Having someone hold the phone very carefully in place, making sure the phone doesn't move in between shots. So the key to this project is to make sure your phone is kind of steady. Now, if you don't have any of those things, you can still do this project. Just you kind of want to set the phone up against something and to make sure it doesn't move in between shots that much. It's much like the multiplicity project that we did, where you want to make sure that the camera doesn't move that much between shots. You can move the camera between shots if it's like a bullet time, that's what it is. And that's where the subject stays still, but you move the camera around the subject. And I'll give you an example of that right here. If you look right here, where the camera moves around R2-D2. This is one I did on my ping pong table. So you can move the camera around the subject, you just have to keep the subject still. So yes, you can move the camera, but something has to remain still because that's the point of reference. So just remember that. Now, when I made this one, I did not have a tripod. In fact, it was called it's a tracking shot. If you notice, it kind of tracks along with R2-D2 as he goes, down the ping pong table. So for this shot, I kind of propped the phone up against, I think it was a pop can, like a full pop can, and I just took a photo. I moved the pop can slightly back with the phone, and then I moved R2-D2 slightly forward, and then, I kept doing that. And then when I did that shot of the bullet time, you notice that R2-D2 is completely still, and I'm just moving the camera around. So when I move the camera just a little bit, take a shot, move the camera a little bit, take a shot. So I'm exposing the front of R2-D2 to get that shot. So, and then every time I move to the front of R2-D2, I add an Uno card. So you see that? So that's how you can, be kind of creative that way. So, like I said, you do not need a tripod. Does a tripod help? Yes, it does help immensely. And the video that I'm getting ready to show you I do use a tripod, but this one I did not use a tripod, and it still looks really well. So as long as you can prop your phone up against something sturdy and it doesn't move a lot, and you can still do these cool effects like the bullet time shot, which is when you keep your subject still. So notice R2-D2 is completely still, and I just move the camera around them. And as I move the camera around, you kind of have to think, okay, as I move the camera, I'm taking a exposure every time, and every time I move just a little bit, take a shot. Every time I move a little bit, take a shot. Every time I move a little bit, take a shot. Now for this one was a little bit harder because I had to kind of direct three of my children on how to jump and kind of time the exposure just right. So what I did was I had them start on the left, and then very slowly I said, okay, move 2 steps, and on a count of 3, jump. So when I said jump, that's when I hit the camera and they jumped. And then I said, okay, take 2 steps forward, and on the count of 3, jump. And then I would take another picture. And then I said, okay, take 2 steps forward and jump on the count of 3. On the count of 3, I took the picture. So it's all about repeating that routine. Take 2 steps, on the count of 3, jump. And then when I counted to 3, when they jumped, I took the exposure. So that's why it looks like they're basically floating across the landscape there. And I think that was about, I forget how many shots that was. I think that was about 25, but you can see it's kind of there was a video about, geez, probably 20 years ago where somebody was doing that all over the yard, and I thought that was pretty funny. So that's something else you can do. You don't even have, you can just have somebody, stay there perfectly still. The camera will still probably move a little bit, but hopefully you can just hold it in place really, really good. It doesn't move at all. This is where clamps come in handy. So just make sure the camera doesn't move as much, so you won't get that kind of herky jerky camera movement. So this is kind of how I did this one. Okay, so for this one, I was trying to recreate that scene from The Matrix where he's like dodging bullets, and obviously I pretty much fail at this. And this was only like 6 or 7 or 8 shots, and I know that's grossly underneath the expected 25. But this was my first attempt because, like I said, my ideas weren't really flowing at the time. But you can obviously do something like this, and you can see where I slowed down the speed, because when I was playing it really, really fast, it was just ridiculously fast, and it was almost surreal. You couldn't really tell what was going on. So you can do something like this too. So this was just another Matrix thing. I don't know why I kept thinking of The Matrix, but this was my first attempt. So notice I'm kind of standing still in the same spot. It kind of, to kind of get that, ooh, I'm dodging bullets. And yes, I realize I'm a big dumb animal in my backyard. So please excuse the big boomer right there. So that's something else you can attempt to do, something like that. And here's the last one that I did, and also my favorite. And this one actually kind of ended early because my phone died, because I was having so much fun doing it. It was really long. This one, I forget how many frames I had. You can see it's pretty long. But if you want to do a really, really good one, simplicity is the key. Try not to have ones where there's all these moving parts. Like, try to stay away from G.I. Joe action figures, or ones that have moving arms and legs. Something like that, like a moving car or like that. Like R2-D2 is perfect because I can get him to do like that. You see that where he's going up and down like that? That was actually, I put little pieces of mulch underneath one of his feet, one at a time, on each little frame. And when I show the video, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And that's kind of how, when you watch the Star Wars movies, if you've ever seen him, when R2-D2 gets excited, he kind of does this, like right here. He goes, ooh, So that's how I did that. Obviously, if you're going to do fire, try to be careful with fire. The real hard part about that fire was creating that little laser that came out of his. You can't really see it, but it was there in one frame. But as you can see, when I tried to set up the shot, I did use a tripod, and it was kind of sturdy on there. And you might not have that, which is fine, but you don't need one. Like I said, as long as it's sturdy and it's not moving, that's fine. And you can see how little I move it in between shots. And I'm being very, very careful not to kind of hit the phone. Now there is going to be times where I do move the phone. Did you see that? I did move the phone because I needed to alter the perspective. And you can see I don't do that in between every shot, because if I do that in between every shot, then it's almost going to be impossible to even view, because the camera's always going to be too herky-jerky to watch. So as I'm being very careful to move it, and you can see I go off screen just because I want to see what it looks like. It's slowly going around, and I believe I'm coming to the edge where it's going to start to I'm starting to turn R2-D2 around so he can shoot his laser out of his red light to start the fire. And this is where I really struggled with getting that red. I had a red. It's kind of like one on those little dusters you get, those little spray dusters, those compressed air cans. It was one of those red things that come on those, and I was trying to glue it, and it would not it would not glue. And I didn't have any super glue, so I tried to use gum. It just wouldn't stick. So eventually I did get it to stick, though, as you can see right about here. So then, yeah, then I lit it, and then I continued the process, and my lord, I think I spent more time trying to glue that that little red stick for that one shot than I did doing the entire project. To be totally honest with you, that red stick took forever. That just to get that one shot took forever. So yeah, that's kind of how I did that. Now, to do the next part on the phone is relatively easy, and this is where you can use whatever app that you want. If you look right here, I'm sure there's several on the iOS for those Apple users, because you guys know my disdain for anything Apple, for those sheeple that blindly follow trends. Uh, then there's the Google apps, and there's all kinds of stop motion ones to look up. You can even look up stop motion, and they can actually help you because they have that kind of those ghosting things. Um, I just use the GIF maker editor. You can just look up GIF maker or whatever, and you guys are smart enough to figure this out. I know a lot of you think you need to be spoon-fed all this information, but this is a good time for you guys to figure stuff out on your own, and it's really not that hard to figure out how to import pictures and whatnot. This is a time for you to explore the technology that's available to you. It's all on your phone. You guys are smart enough to make TikTok videos and whatnot. This is right up that alley. This is just a little bit more kind of to the side of that. So if you need help, obviously contact me on email or through Remind or something. But this shouldn't be that hard. You guys are always on your smartphones. You guys should be able to hopefully figure this stuff out. So you guys can see right here. What I did was I went into the GIF maker, and I just started adding them all in order. It's basically that's all you do. You're just adding the frames one by one in order, and you can see I'm just check marking them one by one, and slowly getting them in order, just to make sure they're all in sequence. And this is literally how easy it is. So I just went to it took me a while to figure it out, but you guys are probably smarter than me with smartphones. Lord knows you guys have all kinds of apps on your phones that I don't even know. And then when you hit play, look, it's already there. It's done. And then for some apps, you can even do other stuff, like you can adjust it, and you can crop it if you want. See, like right here, you can crop it to make it bigger or smaller, or you can, let's see what else. You can do, I don't know what that is. I guess change the color. You can add, I think, stickers and stuff on some of these apps. I know you can put filters. Yeah, there's the stickers right there. I mean, I didn't feel necessary to do that. I thought that was kind of superfluous. You can add text. You guys, the sky's the limit. I mean, obviously, some of you will probably do the bare minimum and just do 25, and that's it. Hopefully, some of you guys will hopefully produce like mini movies that'll blow me away. I hope that's the case, because I know some of you are probably bored out of your mind. Yeah, here's something you can do: add the filters. There's all kinds of filters to choose from. To, get all these cool effects. And of course, this is the Android version, which I know probably only 4 of you out of all my students have. So you. Some of you won't even know what the Android version is even like. So yeah, again, you can hardly see the red light come out. That's why I spent all that time trying to create, this cool little laser effect, and you can kind of see it if you look for it, but I spent all that time on it, and if you look for it, it's kind of there, and that's why I kind of wanted that, that effect that he started the fire. So that was kind of a cool effect. All right, so when you get done with it, when you get it to where you like it, no, there's also a trim effect that's coming up. Oh, you can also slow the speed down on some of these. So if it's going too fast, you can obviously slow the speed down so it lasts a little longer. And I think when I slowed the speed down, you can kind of see the red laser light pop out a little better. Oh, there you can see the trim function. And I just want you guys to know how difficult this is for me to commentate on this while it's playing. I do not like talking, so it's difficult for me to fill empty space. So I hope you guys appreciate this, the running commentary. So hopefully this is coming to the end. So when you save it, hopefully you guys will figure out how to save it. You can save it as a GIF, you can save it as a video, whichever you want. Just make sure you save it, or somehow you save it on your phone, or share it. So right now it's saving, and after it saves, I think on some of these apps you can share it directly on Google Classroom, because I think I was able to. I'm not sure, but if you can't, that's fine. Just again, if you cannot upload it, and so you might have to watch an ad like I did. That just comes with the territory, people. So let's see. So you can save it on Facebook, Snapchat, and there should be something that says more. Yeah, it's in the bottom right-hand corner over there. I think I'll eventually find it over there. Share. So like I said, every app is different. You're gonna have to kind of figure out how to upload these. Hopefully you can, as long as you save it as a GIF or a video, and are able to email it or somehow post it into Schoology or Google Classroom, one of the two. Some of you don't understand that it does not have to be on Schoology. It can be in Schoology or Google Classroom, because I know some of you forgot your Google Classroom or your Schoology login stuff. So if you forgot your Schoology Classroom stuff, that's fine, or your Schoology stuff, just put it in Google Classroom, that's fine. And this is due May 1st. May 1st. Again, if you need any help, let me know. And as always, stay blessed and create.